and welcome to Intentionate. Today we are doing a knitting podcast. I'm going to show you what I'm currently making and what I finished since we last spoke. Let's get right into it. I really wanted to finish the blanket that I'm working on before filming this knitting podcast. It just didn't happen, but I'm going to show you the progress and also blocking it. But let's start with what have I finished since we last spoke. So as always, I am going to link everything that I'm talking about down below, if it's a Ravelry page or the pattern or any details like that. I'm also doing the chapters in case you're interested in the knitting part or the crochet parts. So let's get into what have I finished since we last spoke. I am starting with knitting. I have finished 2 items since we last spoke. The first one I think I had on my needles last time. It is the first pair of socks of 2026. These are a donation pair, so I am making it for someone. I'm not sure which yarn it is, that's also part of the fun, but I think it's Opal or something like that. Or maybe Regia. These are done, these are a size medium. So yeah, these are done. Sock number 1 of 2026 has been finished. And then since last time I casted on and finished a second pair of socks. I haven't blocked these, but these are also a donation pair. These are made in the large size, so they are a bit bigger. These are made for a male adult, so these are pretty big. They do fit my husband, which he has larger feet than me, but it's a bit wide for him. So these are made for like a big men's pair of socks. These are also made with fingering yarn. I also don't know which yarn this is, but it's something like the previous one. That means we have 2 finished pairs already for 2026. And these are a donation pair, so if you're keeping up with my yarn destashing part of 2026, my big project, then you will see in the monthly updates, I think that should be out by now, I'll link it up here, that I am noting some of the yarn I'm using as donation. So that means that what I knit is going out, of course, and then the leftovers of that yarn is also going out. So for these, I didn't use the 100 grams, but 100 grams is going out of my stash for this project. So that is 2 knit projects done. And then last time we spoke, I had just counted up my yarn stash and I couldn't find this project, but it was on my crochet hook. This is just a very simple headband or ear warmer. I crocheted this just on I think it was a 5mm. I used some of my yarn stash. I used Drops Charisma, which is 100% wool, if I remember correctly. So yeah, it's just a very simple headband, which I call it. And I really needed this in the very cold winter weather we are having now for going outside. So this is a finished item that I'm happy with and is for myself and using it while I'm outside. Let's get into what I'm currently working on, which will be the biggest part of this video. I was kind of hoping to be finished with some of this, but it is what it is. We only have a limited amount of time working on this project, so I'm not beating myself up. Anyway, let's start with the knitting, what I'm currently working on. I'll start with the simple and small thing. I just casted on a new pair of socks. This is using from my stash here, so it's part of my stash busting. It's just a fingering weight again. I really prefer working with that. Oh, I can get closer here. So yeah, this is just a fingering weight yarn. The yarn is new to me. I bought this last autumn just to try it. This is from Yarbo Merino Raggi sock yarn. So since I have the band, you can see. It's feeling very soft and nice, and this will be my 3rd pair of the year, so I just cast these on this morning actually to have something on the go. Then we have my large project. This is something I am so looking forward to getting done. Last time I had knitted about, I had just joined under the arms and got down to maybe about here. This time I have spent a lot of time knitting on this and sort of not spent a lot of time on other projects. So this is the Cumulus tee, but I am making the arms long, so to me it's gonna be a sweater. I'm going to talk about how I'm making this, because since I want everything I make this year to really fit me and make sure that I really use it, I am doing a few things to make sure of that. I have 2 skeins attached right now. So I have, first of all, I have finished, well, I'll talk about it. This is where I am right now. Can you see? It's a bit darker in real life. I have my big ring light on because it's winter in Norway, it's really dark, it's been snowing for days, so it's really hard to get accurate colors. But this is what it looks like. So you can see that I have the length sort of where I want it. I have also finished one arm with the I-cord bind off, and I am, I think, about halfway on the second arm. I'm really happy about this. So what I am doing is the pattern, I don't think that's a giveaway. The pattern says to, you know, cast off the main part when you're happy with the length. I know from experience that I have a bit longer arms. Just something that's a weird thing about me. Other times I have finished a sweater and I have sort of been happy with the length, I have cast it off, and then I've made the arms, and that sort of made the fabric drape in another way, and I ended up unhappy with the length. So what I have done this time is I just put the main part here on a little helping thread, and I have the yarn still attached. So instead of casting it off with the I-cord edging already, I have it still attached. I am finishing that part lastly after having fully finished the arms, so that I can make sure that the fit is just right. One of the things that really bothers me with something I make is if the arms are not long enough, or if the length is a bit off to how I want it to sit. I'm not sure how I want this sweater to sit, but I'm excited to see when I finish the arms how it feels, and if I can just cast it off or if I need to take it up a little bit or knit a bit more. We'll just have to see. But with the arm, I tried it on several times. I had a look at Ravelry to see how others have elongated the arms. It would usually end around, I think, around the elbow area. I wanted it to be about the length here. See, you can see this is the problem. This is, a lot of sweaters will stop right here for me, so it's so annoying. So I did knit it until I was happy with the length. I tried to sort of drape it and make sure it fit right, and then I did my first ever I-cord edge. Wow, that took a lot of time. I did not expect it to be so slow. It took me 50 minutes, almost an hour, to just do the edge of the arm here. So now I know that when I am doing the other arm and when I'm doing the bottom part, I'm gonna need some time. But I'm really excited about how this is coming along. I am hoping to finish the other arm very soon, and then I just have to double check the length and then do the I-cords and everything. So it's coming along. I don't have a lot left, but I'm really prioritizing finishing this soon. I can't wait to wear it. Even though it's winter, it's something that's nice to wear if we're going out or visiting friends, so I can't wait to wear it. And then we have the thing that I wish I had finished, but I haven't, because I have been prioritizing knitting a lot. As you can see, 2 finished pair of socks, working a lot on my Cumulus tee, but it is my solid granny square blanket. I will insert some footage here of me blocking it. I did start by just blocking 10 at a time. So there's 60 squares, and I thought, oh, I'll just do 10 at a time on the blocking thing that my husband made me. I then remembered that I had gotten a blocking mat last year, and I did 2 to 4 squares per area. That made all the difference. You can also see all of the colors. There's 10 different colors, and this made it dry in just about a day. So that's where I last left it off. We now have 60 fully blocked squares. They are done. Let me see if I can show them to you. all at the same time. We have them here. It's a good bit. Yeah, I have a lot to work with. The next step for me will be to weave them in together. Oh yeah, I also spent a lot of time weaving in the ends. I think it was 4 hours, so that took a good bit. So between the weaving in the ends and blocking it, that just took up the time. The next part will be crocheting them together. I am just finding a pattern for that. I haven't had anything in mind, and then doing that, and then weaving in those ends and doing the border. I have sort of a deadline on this. Here where I live, in some of my local yarn stores, we have a 2-month yarn return window, and it's coming up to that. I bought a lot of extra yarn for this project because I wasn't sure if I was going to make 60 or 90 squares, and I bought a lot of extra yarn. So I really need to finish this before that, return window closes, so that I can actually return the yarn, not make it part of my stash, which is the least thing I want to do, and then swap that yarn with something new for a new project that I'm thinking about. So I need to finish this, and I need to think, what do I want to swap it with? That is the plan, and by the next time I film a knitting podcast, it really should be done. At the very least, I need to know exactly how much yarn I need to return. If I have 1 or 2 extra skein, I'll be okay with it, but the most important part would actually be to return the yarn, and I'm also hoping to not add any unnecessary yarn to my stash this year, so yeah. I was hoping to have this done in January, to have it in my yarn destash and yarn usage update video, which is already out. It's not. I can tell it won't be done before that, but that just means that in February I'm going to have a big number here and a few big projects finally done. I started this in 2025, so I can't wait to finish it. I think it's going to look good. So yeah, this was kind of a knitting podcast on the shorter side. I'm sorry about that. I just felt like I had already talked a lot about what I'm doing, so yeah. But I am thinking about starting a new project. I want to make another blanket, and I have a lot of leftover yarn in my stash. It's probably going to be a couple of smaller blankets for just around my home. I have been toying with doing hexagons, but I haven't found a perfect pattern yet for that. I want to have something that I won't have this problem, that I need to finish everything up and sew it or crochet it all together. I want to have something that I can sort of make on the go. I think I have found a pattern now, and I'll tell you next time and show you. I have been trying a little bit here and there. I did try the Hexy scrap blanket, I will have a link, but it turns out that a lot of my scraps are larger scraps, or it's not scraps. A lot of my leftover yarn is larger skeins, and this Hexy scrap blanket, I do want to make it one day, but it requires a lot less scraps, so I think I'm going to do that one day when I have more of the small scraps. I hope you have a good day, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.